Coming up on Green Bay Nation, the Packers seemingly regress in Minneapolis as Green Bay earns the same result against the Vikings before closing out the season at home versus the Bears. All that and more next on Green Bay Nation. Hello and welcome to Green Bay Nation. I am Lauren Helmbrecht. Joining me to chat everything Packers, he's a Packers beat writer for the Green Bay Press-Gazette, Ryan Wood, and he is a radio host for 107.5 and 1400 The Fan, Marcus Eversole. Happy New Year. Happy 2025 to you both. Care to share any resolutions?
No, I have nothing clever to say, so just no.
I don't make resolutions because I don't make promises I don't keep, and that just seems like a great way to fail. I don't like failing, so no resolutions for me.
Well, my resolution this year is to not brag. So I didn't drink soda at all last year. I successfully completed a resolution.
Wow.
This year, resolution, use it or lose it. Interpret as you may.
No soda for a year.
Now my mind is just like all over the place.
That's hard to do. I had some eggnog. A little bit of bourbon.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
All right. You know what? You know what does happen if you don't use it? You lose in Minnesota. And the Packers didn't use their offense in the first half of the game. See what I did there?
That's a segue.
Packers earned their fifth loss of the season. They fall to the Vikings. The score makes it seem like it was close. It was not. 27-25. Green Bay trailed by 17 points twice. Fought back to make it close. It looked very similar from the first meeting 3 months ago. Marcus, I'll start with you. Does a late push in a game that you lose matter at all?
The short answer is no. I mean, if you want more than that, it at least shows that the Packers won't roll over when they're down big, and that's something I think we've seen over the past couple seasons, that even when they're down, even if they're down big, they can battle back. You can never really count them out. And crazily enough, somehow, some way, even though they're getting doubled up in terms of total yards and the Vikings dominated the game, if Sam Darnold underthrows that ball to Cam Akers on 3rd and short, or if Cam Akers drops that pass, then Jordan Love and the Packers get the ball back down 2 points at the end of the game with an opportunity to win. So they were in position to potentially steal that game, but the end result is really all that matters. The Vikings thoroughly outplayed the Packers in that game. You're right, it was almost identical to the first meeting back in September. And come playoff time, I mean, no one's going to say, yeah, but hey, they battled back and made it close. If you win, you move on. If you lose, you go home. And right now, that's kind of where the Packers are at.
It's easy to say no, and it's the right answer. If next week they are the 7th seed going to Philadelphia, spoiler alert, I'll pick the Eagles. But let's take you back almost exactly a year ago right now when the Packers, 2023, were coming off of December in which they lost to the New York Giants, they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then they won 2 games to close the regular season against the backup quarterback in Minnesota, and then a so-so win at home against Chicago Bears. Sounds familiar this week. There was nobody that thought that this Packers team was going to do anything going into the postseason last year. And then they got hot, and they stomped the Dallas Cowboys. And they carried that momentum into a really tough environment in San Francisco against a team that was better than them, played in the Super Bowl, and they got hot at the right time. So just because we haven't seen it yet, this is my point, doesn't mean we won't. We'll have to see if they get hot or not. There's no reason why they can't. There's no reason why they will. They have to go out and play the game.
I also just think about the energy that would be in that Packers locker room if they lost 34-0.
Right.
So, of course, being able to put points on the board gives you confidence because they're playing a playoff team, and they're still going to the playoffs. Good teams win. Great teams dominate. The Packers have won 11 games. They're obviously a good team, but they are 0-4 against the Vikings and the Lions for just the 3rd time ever. What separates Green Bay from the likes of Minnesota and Detroit?
Well, it's so interesting because I feel like if you really break it down just based on the roster, I don't think there is a huge separation. And that's what Jordan Love said after the game in Minnesota. Not much is what he said, separating the Packers from those other 2 teams. I still think the Packers are capable of beating the Lions, especially considering their injuries. I think they are capable of beating the Minnesota Vikings, but they haven't done it yet. So until they do it, that's just an opinion. And it's based on the eye test. They've shown flashes. They do have the talent. We saw what they did down the stretch last season. We've seen glimpses of what the Packers can be at their best. And I think the Packers' absolute best is on par with the Vikings and Lions. I guess what's missing is consistency. The Lions and Vikings have both been more consistent than the Packers have throughout the season.
Yeah, the opposite of capable is incapable, and incapable is a very strong word. I'm not ready to go there. They are capable of beating anybody it's not a talent deficiency. It's a lack of execution, which is pretty synonymous with the young team, and we know the Packers are young. It's lack of execution, especially at quarterback. You look at this last game, the Minnesota Vikings were daring Jordan Love. Hey, okay, we're not going to give you anything deep. What we're going to do is force you to hit those 5, 6, 7, 8 yarders over and over again ruthlessly and throw us out of this umbrella secondary coverage that we have over the top of the field. He couldn't do it. And Jordan Love said today, the accuracy is something that he got away from in Minnesota. If it gets away from him in the playoffs, this is going to be a short playoff stint. But if he can find that accuracy, if he can tone the fundamentals, this is a talented quarterback as any in the league, and it's a talented roster as any in the league. The sky's the limit if they execute. We just haven't seen that yet.
I also think that great teams don't shoot themselves in the foot, and the Packers have done that many times throughout this year, especially against the great teams like Minnesota and like Detroit.
It's definitely been a theme, and at the same time, I kind of struggle with that at some points because isn't that what good teams do, is make you make mistakes at some level? Like, we haven't seen the Packers get in their own way as much against inferior competition. They've beaten all the teams that they should beat, but in those games against elite competition, to your point, they do seem to shoot themselves in the foot. But that's kind of what good teams do, is make you make mistakes.
There's a word for that. When you beat all the teams you should and none of the teams that have a better record than you. It's called mediocre. That's what they've done so far. They have a chance to prove that they're not mediocre, and that ultimately is going to be what matters.
Well, when we come back on Green Bay Nation, we learned today that Jair Alexander is likely out for the rest of the season. While the Packers have a regular season matchup remaining against the Bears, this team's thinking about the playoffs. How will his absence be an impact? That's next.
I would expect Ja, most likely, he's going to be done for the rest of the year. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. I feel for him. Obviously, he was trying to get his knee right. It wasn't getting right. And so, it's a tough deal for all of us.
Welcome back to Green Bay Nation. That was head coach Matt LaFleur earlier today, giving the ultimate update on cornerback Jair Alexander's injury status. So Ja has missed 6 straight games. He played 10 snaps in that Week 11 game in Chicago. And although there probably was the writing on the wall that he's not coming back this season, it's still different from actually happening. So, Ryan, how does losing Ja for the rest of the season impact the team?
I think what you said, writing on the wall, is really important because internally, it sure sounds like there was writing on the wall. That didn't exist externally. When you're looking at the injury reports, and 7 times since Chicago, since playing those 10 snaps in Chicago last month, 7 times he was a full participant. So you just keep thinking, okay, at some point, Jair Alexander's coming back, and then all of a sudden, this secondary will be whole. But internally, Xavier McKinney discussed today at his locker that he kept trying to come back, and he kept having this knee setback, and it just never seemed like, okay, he could get over this hump. So I don't think this is a surprise to this Packers defense that they're not going to have Jair Alexander the rest of the season. It seems to have been in the cards for some time now. Obviously, it does limit the ceiling on what this defense might be able to do in January when you have one of the best corners in the league healthy. It's a very different secondary, but they're used to it by now. It's not new. They've gone 6 games without him, and so it's going to be more of the same.
We don't need to get into it right now, but there's obviously the conversation of should he have had surgery earlier. Right. I think it's a lot easier for people to tell someone what they should do with their own body. Medical choices are people's own. We don't know what he was going through. And
being revisionist, it's always easier when you look back and you see how it actually played out, right? But you didn't know back then, hey, it could be something he's able to get over in a couple weeks. Obviously, the Packers didn't put him on IR, so they thought he'd be back sooner. He had the setbacks.
So no revisionist history here. We'll talk about the future. The Packers are playing the Bears. In the locker room after the Vikings lost, Green Bay said, hey, this wasn't a regression. We're going to be better than what we had in Minnesota. Marcus, what could you see in a game against a 4-12 team that would prove that point? Because it's not like the Bears are necessarily an opponent where the Packers would need to step up to their level.
Exactly. It's such a tough question to answer because the Bears aren't any good. Like, how impressive would the Packers have to be for you to actually be impressed with the Packers against the Bears? It's a tough question to answer. I think first and foremost, you have to see the Packers stay healthy in this game. I mean, yes, there's something on the line. They could work their way up to a 6 seed if the Cowboys give them a little help and beat the Commanders, so there is something at stake. I think something you really want, because you don't know who's going to play, how long the Packers are going to play their starters. Matt LaFleur said they'll be mindful of those situations individually. I think it's important to get out to a fast start because that is something that has not been consistent throughout the season. We know that a lot of their key players are at least going to start the game, so it'd be important to see those key players start fast, get a little bit of a rhythm, and as a result of that and staying healthy, which is the most important thing, you just got to kind of, you rinse and with mouthwash and just kind of get that taste out of your mouth from Minnesota. That was an ugly loss. And even though they're confident in the locker room afterwards, you got to get that taste out of your mouth headed into the playoffs.
I think they need a dominant win, too. You can't just get by against the Bears in this last game. Ryan, you mentioned earlier that's what's happened in the past. You kind of maybe crawl into the playoffs. They got to run through that wall, in my opinion, and just look dominant so that going into a game against Philly, by chance, you feel confident because you just put up 35 points. All right, when we come back on Green Bay Nation, we are heading into the locker room to hear how the Packers view this Week 18 matchup and their players' health with the playoffs on the horizon. That's In the Zone next. Welcome back to Green Bay Nation. The Packers had 7 players on their injury report that did not practice today. With 1 game remaining in the regular season against the worst team in the NFC North, it bears the question, should the Packers rest anyone ahead of Week 18? It's time to get in the zone. Can you say?
Well, we're just 1 week away from determining where the Packers are playing in the wild card round of the playoffs. Right now sitting in that 7th spot, which means they'd play the Philadelphia Eagles, but they could move up to 6 with a Dallas win over Washington and if the Packers beat the Bears this weekend. Now, a lot has been made of, do you rest your starters, make sure that you head into the playoffs fully healthy? Well, these players know that just as much as they want to stay healthy going into the postseason, this Bears game is important in more ways than one.
We're treating it like another week and go out there with the mindset to go win this game. Obviously another NFC North opponent, so yeah, we'll be playing.
We're playing to win. I mean, we always play to win the game, so I don't see our approach changing.
We need to come into this game all cylinders clicking, like you just said. Fast, early, and often. We need to execute on every opportunity just to, give this you said springboard into the next bout of games we're about to face.
I mean, yeah, we talked about it, but we won it 4 in the division. So I think getting this win, regardless of what it does for us in the future, obviously we know we're in the playoffs, but it's a rival game, it's a division game, and I want to be able to be out there for my teammates. So there was no question about me not wanting to play. I wanted to play this game regardless.
I think those answers come as no surprise to anyone. These Packers players, they want to beat the Bears for the 12th straight time. But guys, do you find that it's more important for this team to rest a few of the starters, stay healthy, or do you think you treat this Bears game like any other contest, knowing that momentum might play a part?
All right, time now for Q&A with Green Bay. To rest or not to rest? That is the question.
Yeah, and once again, I feel like there's been a lot of tough questions on this show because it's a weird game. It's a weird vibe going into a regular season finale where there's not a whole lot on the line. You're already going to the playoffs, but I do think it matters that they play well and they gain some momentum going into the playoffs. The most important thing, though, is to stay healthy. So where is that line? How long do you play your guys? How much do you really value momentum potentially into the playoffs? Because if you lose some key players, what are the chances that you're going to go to Philly and get a win? Probably slim to none. You got to stay healthy in order to have a chance to go into Philly and win. It's kind of a tough balancing act here.
I got to be honest, I don't think this is tough. What are they doing here? They're thinking Super Bowl. And had they just had a rollicking win in Minnesota and had momentum, then maybe. But that's not what happened. They had a disaster. That game was 20-3. It was over at halftime. It was a miracle even got close at the end. You have to, as Lauren said, run through the tape. And that means keeping your guys on the field and taking, sometimes you get a feel-good game here going into the playoffs. They have a chance to feel good, and they have a chance to get some things right and build some momentum going into January. That should be the focus, not to mention the seeding. You don't want to really go to Philly if you don't have to. Going to Los Angeles in the 60s is a lot better, so that's a chance as well.
How about we do a little bit of both? Play the important players, play everyone in the first half,
right.
Get a lead, hold the lead, and then waltz into the second half of the game and into the postseason. All right, if you want to hear more from Cam, tune in to Cam's Corner on Sunday mornings during Green and Gold's game day to learn more about winning a free stay at the Legacy Hotel. All you got to do is scan the QR code on your screen. You have a vote. See who will have their best fantasy football week. One vote gives you a chance to win. And when we come back on GBN, it's time for Challenge or No Challenge, presented by Bayside Machine Corporation. Will the flags fly? We'll have to wait and see. It is time now for Challenge or No Challenge, presented by Bayside Machine Corporation here on Green Bay Nation. Are the flags going to fly? If they disagree, we'll have to wait and see. We'll start off with some sacks. So the last time the Packers played the Bears, they got to Caleb 3 times. Challenge or No Challenge, more than 3 sacks in this game.
No challenge. The Packers don't have a consistent pass rush. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. It's actually one of their biggest question marks this season. But no quarterback has been sacked more than Caleb Williams. It's a travesty, their pass protection and Caleb Williams' lack of awareness at times. The Packers will have 4+ sacks.
I'm not convinced that if you, I, and Lauren were on the field for this Packers defense, you, I, and Lauren would have a sack each. So
well,
that's
I'd probably
3.
have 4 myself. So.
Yeah, for yourself. Yeah, we got a game record here. But this is a terrible Bears offensive line, and it's a quarterback that's even worse when it comes to not getting sacks. I think it's going to be a lot of sacks.
All right,
Sack
Jordan.
party.
Oh, I jumped on you right
You did.
there.
Sack party.
Just like probably the Packers are going to jump on Caleb Williams.
Yes.
All right, so Jordan Love has had 6 straight games without an interception. Josh Jacobs had the fumble in the loss to the Vikings. Challenge or No Challenge, Packers 0 turnovers against the Bears.
No challenge, and I think this is one of those things that's important in terms of getting that taste out of your mouth from Minnesota, building some momentum, and feeling good about something going into Philly or wherever you go in the wild card round. Just play a clean football game, and I think the Packers will against actually a pretty decent Bears defense.
I'm not only going to challenge this, I think they should have a turnover in this game. I think that this offense has been really, really safe for the better part of since the bye. And at some point, you got to dial it up a little bit, and you got to take your shots. I understand we spent the first half of the season saying, oh, Jordan Love, take care of the football. They need to generate more big plays, and sometimes that takes some risk.
All right, speaking of the playoffs, like Marcus mentioned, Packers currently sit at the 7th seed. Challenge or No Challenge, they move up to the 6th seed in the wild card.
I'll challenge that. I don't think it's out of the question at all that the Commanders could lose to the Cowboys again. They already lost to them once. But if I'm betting, now I'll say the Commanders beat the Cowboys, which would mean the Packers would stay as the 7th seed.
I'm just not brave enough to not challenge that. I think the Commanders could absolutely lose this game. Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys, going to have something to fight for, his job. I think it's much more likely the Commanders lose than the Packers lose to the Bears, but that's just I'm going to cower it out a little bit.
All right, no worries there. You can get green and bold next on the show when we come back on Green Bay Nation. Time now to get green and bold on Green Bay Nation Week 18. Final game of the regular season, Packers versus Bears.
My son doesn't turn 2 until February, and even he knows that the Bears still, you know the rest. Packers win.
Vacuum? They clean the floor real well.
That's not it.
This isn't
Close.
bold, Lauren, but the Bears are not winning this game. Packers are.
I have the Packers winning this game. I know it seems like we're already talking about the playoffs, but there is one more final regular season game. Packers take on the Bears at noon on Sunday. For Marcus Eversole and Ryan Wood, I'm Lauren Helbrecht. Thanks for tuning in.